All right. Everybody's coming in. Who is this? We're gonna hold on a minute while people are joining in. All right. Let's see. I think everything's all set up now. Let me just double check everything. All right. Yeah, Ryan. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people have introduced themselves on the chat, but I have 8 people watching the stream. Who else is here? Got some extra people. Where is everybody else? Where are my other students? Sean, Woojin, Hanu, Ryan, Daniel J. Okay, there is a lag. There's a lag, so it takes a little bit of time for me to see what you write, and it takes like 20 seconds for you to hear after I talk. It's a little bit unfortunate in that way. Let's see. Where's everybody else? I'm missing some other people. Let's open up the eSpecialist folder. Let's see, so here's who's here. We have gold class, a book class, all sorts of different things. We're going to have to figure out what to do. What to do. G4. The chat. And open. Alright, how's everyone doing? How is your coronavirus quarantine going? We are live. What's up? Everybody staying safe? Are you just staying home? Are all your classes closed? Are you happy or are you bored? Ugh, I wish the chat was more instant. because then I could see what you're thinking. Now, who else is here? We have a lot of people watching the stream. Well, like 8 people watching the stream, but only 5 people have said something on the chat. Daniel J. Why are there such funny names on YouTube? YouTube names. Let's see. So this is G4 class, and since all the classes are together, we're going to be focusing on your LAT book today. Make sure you need to have your LAT book, and you also need to have your notebook. We're going to be doing some writing today, so make sure you have your notebook and your pencil ready. Ooh, lots of other stuff are coming in. So the chat's coming here late. Taehoon won't join this class. Why is Taehoon not joining the class? He doesn't want to join the class? Like he won't, or he can't join the class? All the chat comes in so late that I don't see it for a while. Yu-chan. Okay. Let's see. There's the stream here. Yeah, 9 people watching. Where's Taehoon? Should we wait for him or start without him? Who else are we missing? If we have Taehoon, Woojin, Sean. Yerin coming today? Insong? Who else? Pigeon? I don't know. Mars class? With Daniel. What about no Clara? Okay, make sure you say something on the chat if you're watching, so I know that you're here. We want full attendance and participation. Can everybody hear me okay? Is the speaker working? He said he will join the class later. It's late. Okay. I think today we're going to talk about narrative writing. But I don't know if everybody's in it yet. Taehoon said he will join the class later. I guess we'll start without Taehoon. Who else are we missing? I guess maybe we'll just start. 10 people watching now. We got 10 people watching the stream, but not 10 people participating in the chat. Alright. Well, we'll find out. LAT. Everybody have your LAT out? Oh, who's this? Who is this? Who's Hive? Who's Chicken Joel? Who likes chicken? Who here likes chicken? Who is this person? Introduce yourself. Is this the right book? Grade 4, LAT 8. Oh, I see. Chen is pigeon. Alright, good. Yeah, I love Hyunwoo. I know you like chicken. I'm talking about who is this person who said hi. It's kind of funny. It's strange, like you're all on the stream and not in front of me. It's really different because I can't hear your voices. Like, I don't have to like Sean's not singing the song, the Take On Me song, and Hyunwoo's not talking about the Illuminati. It's so quiet in this room, it feels like I'm talking to myself. Alright, William's here. Alright, got more people coming in. I feel like I'm doing like mukbang. Today I'm gonna eat these scones. Welcome to my ASMR channel. We're going to do ASMR English lessons. Okay. Alright, everybody open up your LAT to page 8. Brian. Alright, everybody, LAT page 8. Open this up. We are going to talk about narrative writing today. Writing a story. Very important kind of writing. You'll see it a lot. Not only for fun, but you have to do narrative writing. Often college application essays, high school application essays. It's a very important skill to be able to make a good story. Not just for writing, but maybe you work in any industry. If you work in advertising, you work in business, it's still good to be able to write a good story. It's a very important skill. You write stories. Every day we tell stories to your friends, to your family. But writing, what page? I said page 8. Page 8. Maybe it's late, maybe I already saw it. Here. Page 8, LAT page 8. Writing a story is very important. The process of writing it. I get all these questions late, so it's like I see the question and then I'm sure I've already answered it. Okay? So writing a narrative, writing a story, a personal narrative. Really important thing. So we see here on LAT page 8, drafting a beginning here. Let me switch your view here. Aha. Yeah. Drafting a beginning. This is an important thing. The beginning of the story is very important. If the beginning of your story is boring or uninteresting or confusing, you're going to lose the whole story. If I open up a book and the first 4 pages are boring, I'm not going to read the book. I'm going to put it down. If my job is to accept people into college, I'm reading people's application essays, and I read the first paragraph of their essay and it's boring, and I already think, oh, this person's boring. They don't know how to write a good story, and I'm not going to enjoy the story, even if the end is good. If the beginning is boring, I'm not going to like it. So it's really important when you're writing a story. You start with the beginning. You want it to be interesting. Okay? We have this here, beginning a narrative. A couple of points here. Grab the reader's attention with descriptive details. A couple things here. Descriptive. What do we mean when we say descriptive? Often we're talking about imagery. Ooh, can I put a speech bubble? That looks like fun. Ooh, that is fun. Can I type in here? Nice. Descriptive, we're often talking about imagery or senses. Okay? We have 5 senses, like your sight, your smell, your hearing, taste, touch. I missed one? Sight, hearing, taste, touch, smelling, right? 5 senses, right? 6 if you can feel ghosts. Imagery and senses, right? You want to have that at the beginning. You don't want to just start by giving us a bunch of information. If you just start by telling us something with no description, we feel kind of lost. We don't know where we are. We don't know what's happening. We don't feel like we're part of the story. So it's really important that you start with description. It's a really important part of it. You want to introduce a topic and tell how we feel. Now, this is not an opinion writing. This is a narrative, but we're still going to have a topic. We don't tell a narrative with no topic. You know, if you write a narrative essay and you just tell about what happened today. First, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I drank some water, I ate some cereal for breakfast, I went for a walk outside, blah, 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 blah. It's not fun, right? We want to have a topic. We want to be talking about one idea altogether. Okay? So if we're telling a story, a narrative is a story, it should be about one event or one idea in an event. Maybe you'll tell your narrative about one time I went to the theme park and I rode a roller coaster. I was really scared at first. I didn't want to ride it, but eventually I did, and then I rode it. This kind of narrative has a theme. It has a topic. What is it about? It's about your trip to the theme park. We don't want to tell a narrative too wide about too many different things. You want it to be about one idea, one experience. Okay? A personal narrative, as we see here, is a true story about you. So you write in first person. You're writing with I. What did you do? I did this, I did this, I felt this, I saw this, I thought this, right? A personal narrative. Now, here's an example. Okay, so this is just part of a chart. The beginning, this is kind of a summary of what happens at the beginning. Rory feels worried that Derek won't be his friend after he returns from summer camp. You all already read this story. I think this is lesson 1 from grade 4. You read this one, so it's nice and easy. Here we have our beginning of the story, the beginning of this passage from the hot and cold summer. We can see how does this grab the attention of the reader. We can talk about the different tricks, the different tips they use to make the beginning of a story interesting. Here, hot and cold summer. Rory sat on a lounge chair at his backyard, hurting in 2 places. His poor toes hurt him because he had forgotten and stepped down hard on them a few minutes ago. The other hurt was in the pit of his stomach. It wasn't a stomachache exactly. It was the queasy feeling he had before an arithmetic test. But that was silly because it was still summer vacation and Rory didn't have to worry about arithmetic tests for weeks. Okay, we have here this beginning. We are already kind of interested. We see some description about feeling, his toes hurt. We have feeling almost like a emotional feeling, this queasy feeling. He's nervous before, this means math, before a math test, right? So we already have some feeling. We have some setting also, right? Very important in the beginning of a story to match our setting. Not just where we are. Here we have a lounge chair in his backyard. We have right away the character and the setting. We also have setting and time. It's summer vacation. Okay? So we have a situation. Rory, character. Where, backyard. When, summer vacation. Situation. He feels nervous about something. Now we don't know what he's nervous about. And that's a very good thing that we don't know. This is the most important part of starting a story. We want to have tension. We want it to be interesting. The way that we do that, let me add some text here. The way that we do that is by raising question. Stories are, let me capitalize that. I'm your English teacher, aren't I? Stories are interesting because they give us, why can't, I should make this interesting. Because they give us questions. Okay? To make a story interesting, you want it to give us questions. We want to know, why is Rory nervous? We feel that right away. This gives us a question, why is Rory nervous? And then we want to know, right? This is with the question that we feel. We want to answer this question. Okay. Now, today we're working a bit on writing, so I want everybody to think of something. Think of a topic. We're going to do a personal narrative, like I said here. I annotate with the shape. Tools, annotate. Rectangle. Oh, color. Oh, I can do this. What's going on? Rectangle. Color. Red. Oh, oh. Order. Red. Nice. Okay. Personal narrative is a true story about you. Okay? We can see here, this is what we're going to write. Our writing today is going to be a personal narrative, a true story about you. There should be some kind of theme or feeling or narrow topic about an experience, right? Think about an experience that maybe you learned from or that was interesting to you. Okay? So what I want everyone to do is write in here, please write the topic. First, please come up with, and write your topic for your personal narrative in the chat. Okay. Everybody write that in the chat. I'll wait for you. All right, I'm waiting for everybody. Write your topic for your personal narrative in the chat. Come up with something to write about. Okay? Think of an exciting experience you had. Maybe you learned something or changed from the experience. Ujun will write about playing with my friends. Okay, that could be good, but that's a pretty broad topic. I want you to narrow it down a little bit. Maybe tell about one time when you're playing with your friends. Remember, a narrative is a story. You're not just telling me about playing with your friends. You have to tell me a story about one time and where that you are playing with your friends. What happened? Right? There has to be plot in it. I know there's a kind of a delay, so I have to wait a bit. I don't think you hear my voice until 20 or 30 seconds after I talk. It's a pretty big lag. They have to come up with a topic for their writing.
But she's not the schedule. Her schedule is a Tuesday.
And why? Who is that?
Sophie of the fun class.
Oh, that's what she's doing here.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is she here?
I'll tell her. Okay.
Sophie, what are you doing here? Do you want to take this class too, Sophie? What about a story that I found with a friend? Good, Ujin. That's a great topic. A story fighting with your friend. That's perfect. Hopefully you're fighting like you disagree and not fighting like with your fists. But yeah, a good story. That could be a very good story. I'm waiting for everybody else. Everybody else, come up with a topic for your story. I want you to write it in here. Who else is here? Hyunu, Sean, Ryan, Daniel. Who else is here? Pigeon, William. Everybody write a story. Write the topic for your story in the chat. So you have 10, 11 people watching. Your homework is going to be writing about it. We're going to be talking about writing the story, about tips and how to write the narrative writing. So it's really important that you do it in the class. We get the idea so that we can learn more during class. All right, Ryan's going to write about playing in your backyard yesterday afternoon. Very good. There's a good topic. Maybe you can make a story out of that. Everybody else. All right, Pigeon. Skating with your friend. Sorry about skating with your friend. Good. Also a good story. Anybody else? Who else is here? My mom was cold yesterday. Oh, your mom had a cold? Like sick? Had a cold, Hyunu? Oh, you can write a story about that, sure. Ah, Sean's going to write a story about the first time skiing. There's a very good story, yes. I like that. That's an exciting one. Doing something new. Okay, you all have good ideas so far. I like this. Anything else? Who else am I waiting for? Who hasn't said? William, Daniel, and yeah, William and Daniel haven't shared your. Okay. Ah, okay. Erasing the board so we can talk about organization. William and Daniel. Topics for your narrative writing. Anyone? Topics for your narrative writing. 12 people watching now. Who are these people? Okay, well, William and Daniel, you have to think of topics for your narrative writing. Is anyone else I'm missing? What else here? Daniel. And yeah. Okay. Oh, and Ryan. Other Ryan. This Ryan. Insult. You also have to Okay, so make sure you come up with an idea. We're going to continue on. We're going to talk a little bit about the idea. Coming up with the beginning of your story. First, let's talk about these ideas we talked about here. Stories are interesting because they give us questions. Remember that here. When you're starting your story, you want to think, what is the reader feeling when they read this? Are they feeling like I'm just throwing information to them? Or, that's me, Ryan. Yes, you have to tell me, Ryan, you have to tell me the story. Okay. Another Ryan. Yes, two Ryans. We're both Ryans. A story that I play games. Okay. Now you have to think of when you make a story, it has to have a problem also. There has to be a conflict. Okay. Daniel, a story, I went to Hawaii. Okay. That's Hawaii. H-A-W-A-I. Okay. Good. Story. Okay. Story. O-R-Y. I play games. So I went to Hawaii. Okay. So putting it together, making progress. We're going to talk a little bit about story. Stories are interesting because they give us questions. They have problems. In the beginning, we want to give imagery and senses. Okay. So let's start. We're talking about the beginning. So let's think about this together. I'm going to switch our vision back to here. Okay. If we look up here, you see the board, right? Okay. You see this? Okay. Now, what I said about starting a story in our beginning. Story beginning. Remember, we want to have the character or more characters. Setting, situation, and here we want to definitely include description. Description and raise a question. So it's really important that you cover these things in the beginning. You have to know who's in your story. You have to know where, when the story is. You have to know kind of the situation. We can't just have our character sitting on the chair, like Roy was sitting in the lounge chair in the backyard, just doing nothing. We don't have a situation. We don't really know what the problem is. We don't really know what's happening. We have to have all three of these things. And to make it strong, we should have these things too. We should have strong description. Right? This makes us feel like we're in the story. Right? If we just say, I just give you something very vague, like, my brother was sitting on a chair. Well, we don't know where. We don't know what my brother looks like. We don't know what the chair is like. We don't know where any sort of details or description. We're kind of lost. We don't feel like we're inside the story. If I tell you that my brother was sitting nervously on a cold metal chair in a dark room in the basement of the police office with a small dim orange light hanging from the roof. Now you feel like you're in the story. You can see it. You can see where we are. You can see the kind of situation and setting. We have descriptions about the feeling and the sight. And it makes us feel like we're part of the story. And that raises these questions. Or that one I just told you about my brother. Think maybe, why is he in the basement of the police office sitting on this cold chair? It sounds like he's in trouble. Why is he in trouble? Right? Maybe that's almost too straightforward. We might know why my brother is in the basement. Maybe we know he's in trouble, so that's not enough of a question. Maybe it would more raise a question if he was sitting there and he was laughing or smiling. Now we have a question. We have this kind of confusion. Why is my brother in the basement of the police office laughing when it sounds like he's in trouble, right? We have this kind of interesting situation that makes us curious. And now we have the beginning of the story. We want to know more what's going to happen next. We have a description, we have a question, character setting, and kind of a situation. What's happening? Okay? So what I want you to think about, right, in your own story, take out your notebook. You should take out some paper. Have some paper ready. Your pencil. I want you to write this down. Okay? So in your story, almost all of you gave me kind of a topic for your story. I want you to think about these things. Okay? Characters. Obviously, you're going to be a character. But there are going to be other characters too, probably. A lot of you are talking about your friend, Hyunwoo, his mom. Maybe Sean, you're skiing with somebody else, with your family or with a friend. But there are often other people too, right? So you want to think about who are the characters, where is the setting, and what is the situation. Okay? And this is what is the situation at the beginning. Okay? So for example, if Sean is riding his first time skiing, we don't say riding a ski. We just say first time skiing. I'll write that in the chat so you can spell it with my mouse. First time skiing. There's 2 I's in a row, right? Okay. The situation is not so much I was skiing. This is the beginning of the story, so maybe you're driving to the ski hill and you're nervous, or you're renting your ski boots and you're scared about going skiing, or you're really excited, but your friend said that it's dangerous, or maybe somebody said you can't go skiing. Your mom said no, you can't go skiing, and you were sad, and you tried to convince her, something like that, right? The situation has to be kind of be specific. What is happening? Okay? Don't just say you're playing games with your friends. I need some more specific details. What kind of game? Where is the problem in this? Remember to make a good story. Can you read this? I think you can, right? I think you can read that, right? Maybe tell me if you can't read this, I'll write bigger. Okay. Remember to make a story interesting. To make a story interesting. There needs to be conflict. Conflict. Okay? There has to be a problem. Right? If I tell a story about the first time I went skiing or snowboarding, and I'm just keep using Sean's example, and it was just so easy, and it was fun, and I wasn't nervous, and that all happened. I went skiing, I put my skis on, I went down the hill, I drank some hot chocolate. The end. Not a fun story, right? That's a very boring story. It's happy, probably happy for me, but it's a very boring story. Nobody wants to read that story, right? For a story to be interesting, there has to be conflict. Oh, there's a reflection right on there. Can you see that? For a story to be interesting, there has to be conflict. There has to be problems. So make sure you're thinking about as you're telling this story, right? Some of you just said, like Pigeon's writing about skating with his friend. Ryan's talking about just playing games. Right? Daniel's talking about going to Hawaii. Make sure you're thinking about what is the problem in this story. There has to be a conflict. And you kind of have to introduce that.
Just wait. The streaming needs to stop.
Oh, really? Oh, no. Okay, the streaming stopped. I think you're missing stuff. What's going on? Can you all see the stream again?
Did everybody can see the?
I don't know, they just sent question marks.
Because one mom sent a text message. She said, "화면이 안 나오는데 the screen is not working." She said it's just stuck. I will,
Mm-hmm.
안 나오나요? 아니면은 지금? 네.
Okay, let's see the stream again.
아, 네. 아, 저희는 지금 송출이 되고 있는데 집 쪽에 인터넷이 그러면 조금 불안정한가 봐요. 네. 이거 저희가 송출이 된 다음에 다시 리뷰해서 보실 수 있으세요, 언니? 저희가 업로드 할 거예요. 걱정하지 마세요. 네.
We'll continue. Okay. Alright. Not stop. Oh, it didn't stop at all? Oh. Maybe just one person had a problem with that. Alright. Alright. Sorry then. So we were talking about conflict. Every story needs to have a problem. Your situation here, right? In the beginning of your story, you should kind of set up the conflict, right? You should set up, give some background situation related to the conflict. So for example, if my conflict is, I'm going to go bungee jumping, okay? And the major conflict, I think, well, the big conflict is that I'm scared to go bungee jumping. Am I actually going to go bungee jumping? I don't know, maybe I'm too scared. That sort of situation. That's my conflict. But I set it up at the beginning. Right? I'm not going to bungee jump until the end of the story because that's our big climax. That's when the story's most exciting. When we're setting up the situation, we have to understand that maybe I first see the advertisement for going bungee jumping. I first see maybe an advertisement on the internet or maybe a paper advertisement. Someone says, go bungee jumping, it's only $50, it's so much fun. I first see that and I think, maybe I should try that. I don't know, maybe I should try that. Or my friend says, oh, let's do this together, or something like that. And I don't want to seem like I'm scared. I don't want my friend to know that I'm scared. So I'm saying, okay, maybe I'll go. Right? This sort of situation is the setup. It's kind of related to our conflict. It gives our background to make everything happen before the conflict. So the conflict makes sense when we get there. So as you're writing your story here, you should be thinking about that in the beginning. We don't want to write the beginning and just have everything happen right before the major conflict, the climax. We also don't want to have our beginning to set up with nothing related to our conflict, because then the story changes later. But we want to introduce the conflict a little bit in the setup. Okay? We want to think about what is the reader thinking? Are they going to be interested? Is this story seem fun when they're reading it? Why is 9 people again? I think some people the stream froze, so they had to leave. I don't know. There's at least 9 people. How many students now? I think it's like 7 or 8 people on the chat. Okay, so as we're doing this, how about everybody, let's draft our beginning of the story. Right, it's actually just about break time. Break time first. We have break time. It's 4:30 right now. We'll break time 4:34, 10 minutes break time, and then we'll work on the draft of our beginning of the story. Okay? Let's set that up. Here. Break time until 4:45. Okay? I'll write this here. Ooh. Break time. Break from 4:35 to 4:45, and I'll be back. Oops. Okay. All right. Break time's over. Who's here? We're back. We're back. Let's see. Put this way. This. No. So silly. All right. Everybody back? It's 4:45. Check in. Let's see. We were talking about drafting the beginning of your story. Hopefully you've come up with some ideas for the draft. Unfortunately, you're not all in the classroom. Can't revise it right now. We can talk about that later. Okay, but we're going to continue talking about the middle of the draft. It's 10 people. Good. Everybody listening? You have me muted now? Hopefully not. Alright. Post break check in. Everyone say hi. Say hi in the chat. Show me that you're here. So I know that everyone's here. I'm not just taking a long break, playing games or something like you do on break time. What's that game you guys play? Battle Royale. Is that what it's called? Or Call of Duty. Right, Ujin's here. Sean is here. Ryan's here. Pigeon is S. What is S? Is it Spanish? Es. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Puedes hablar en español? Hi, says Chicken Joa. Also Ryan. So many Ryans. Common name. It's a good name. Alright, we have 5 people here. I know it's pigeon. You just said S. I don't know what that means. Don't know what S is. ES. Who are we waiting for? Anu? William? What else here? Shanu, William, break time's over. Say hi in the chat so I know you're listening. Let's get started. Ten people in the chat, but only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on the chat. 10 people on the stream, only 5 in the chat. Where are my other 5 people? Keanu, we have another Ryan. 2 Ryan there. No. William, anyone else? Come on, hurry up. Keanu, say hi in the chat. William, say hi in the chat. I have to know you're listening. Did you log out? No? Are they not here? Keanu's here, good. Hi, Keanu. Where's William? Anyway. Alright, we'll start without him. Okay. So, let's switch back to this. Our LAT, we're on the next page, LAT 9. Let's talk about continuing to draft, the middle of the narrative. Okay, this is the middle of your story. It's a very important part. You can't just have a beginning, introduce people, get people excited, and then finish. We have to build tension through the middle. We have to fill in the plot. What is happening? What happens next? What causes something else to happen? We have to think about cause and effect. We have to think about sequence, all of these different things, right? All these different things. We have to think about the middle of the story. Now, we look at this one, LAT page 9. Went to the middle of the story. Here we have some tips. Tell events in the order in which they happen. Not all stories go in order. This is true. Sometimes stories go out of order. They can go backwards or have what we call flashbacks. They tell stories of a character's memories. So it goes in the middle of the story, then suddenly it goes back to what somebody remembers happening, things like that. When you're telling this kind of personal narrative story, you're telling it straightforward all the way through, you want to tell them in the order in which they happen. Okay, we want that. We want you to tell this happened, then this, then this, then this. You don't want to say this happened, then this happened, but before that something else happened, and before that something else happened. It can be very confusing. We want to keep our story moving forward. Okay. The other thing here, elaborate by including details to make the ideas clear and interesting to read about. Elaborate means to tell lots of details to make something. It's a word kind of like fancy. It's kind of like complicated, but complicated is more a negative word. Elaborate or elaborate is a more positive word. Put more pieces in it. Okay, make it not so simple. Okay, this is important to make the story interesting. If you just have if your story is too simple, it can be boring. Okay, we want to have some complex parts of your story. Now, if you look here, we have called sequence chart. In the middle of a story, we have the process. What happens and what happens. What happens? You guys all read this story before. Derek returns from camp, visits Rory. Derek, Bolivia, and Rory spend the next day at Rory's house, building a puzzle and playing cards. Derek brags that he could eat a whole pizza. Rory says he can too. Bolivia orders a second pizza so the two can compete, and each boy eats 5 slices. Right, this is kind of the setup of what happens. You remember back at the beginning, what happened is Rory was just worried. He was alone. He was worried that Derek won't be his friend after he returns from summer camp. We have kind of the situation, the setup here. What is going to be the problem? Our problem is Rory is worried about his friendship with Derek. This is the problem, the friendship between Rory and Derek. He doesn't know. Okay, our middle then builds up from the beginning, from our introduction towards the climax. Okay, so here we have Derek comes back to camp. Now we address it face to face. Rory and Derek are there. How is their friendship? And then Bolivia is there too. Right, we're setting up for the climax. They're ordering pizza, and then they're competing with each other. Derek and Rory fighting with each other. Who can eat more? And each boy eats 5 slices. They can't finish the pizza. Okay, this is the story. It's kind of building up, up, up. What's happening next? What's happening next? What's happening next? Okay. Now we have one passage here from this first part. Minutes passed. I was right, thought Rory sadly. He didn't come running right over. He doesn't want to be my friend anymore. 15 minutes later, Derek came running into the Dunn yard. He was tanned and taller than ever, and he was carrying his old comics. I heard all about your foot, he said. I thought you would want to borrow these. Derek sat on the ground next to the lounge chair. I can't stay long, he apologized. My parents are taking me out for dinner. But tomorrow it will be like old times, being back home and doing things with you. Okay, so here we have kind of the situation building up, right? Rory's worried about his friendship with Derek, and then here, Derek comes, we have Rory's sad, he was down, and then Derek comes running over, he goes up, It's kind of this up and down kind of roller coaster excitement. He's excited, he's sad, and then he's happy, he's sad, all these different things. We understand then Derek and Rory's friendship. We have more situation. We have some details, right? All these nice little details. We have dialogue. Speaking is very important in a narrative essay. Right? They're talking to each other. You should definitely have talking in your story. It makes us feel like we're in the story. Okay? Alright. Daniel's here. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay. This is important. Details. Organization. Following in order what's happening next, what's happening next, what's happening next. Okay? Alright. No, we're not going to revision today. Okay, so we're going to have a quick little writing. Okay, what I want you to do right now, I want you to do some like the writing planning. I want everybody to send this kind of plan. Okay, let me show the video again. Okay. So you look up here, like I said, okay, in your plan, the story beginning, I want character, setting, situation, setup. I want some kind of description. I want you to send that into the chat. Okay, I'll type. Where do I get this? Okay. On the chat. On the chat. Send a basic outline of the story. Characters, setting, situation, conflict. Okay. And resolution, which comes at the end. Okay. Everybody, so take out some paper, plan it out. When you've planned it out, when you've planned it out, then send it on the chat so I know what's happening. Okay. Daniel just sends a question mark. Just a question mark. What does that mean? Did you just join us now, Daniel? Is that what's happening? Oh, 12 people watching now. Yeah, so a lot of people watching. So Daniel, you might have just joined now. Daniel, what we're doing here is we are working on a personal narrative. Please go to LAT page 8. The LAT page 8, you'll see this. We're doing some writing, a personal story. Okay. Open that up, LAT page 8. And also we did page 9. We're planning the outline of your own personal narrative. You're going to be writing it. I something, right? I want you to send me the character, setting, situation, conflict, resolution. Okay. Let me give you an example. Okay. I'll send you the example. Oops. Alright, example. Me. My friends. Setting. Yes, LAT page 8. LAT page 8. Oops. accidentally pressed. Setting is when and where your story happens. Setting is when and where. So the place and the time or season, right? So the setting of this story here, Rory is in the chair in his backyard and it is summer vacation. What is it? Character limit. Oh no. Okay, so here's my example. Characters, setting, the situation, and the conflict and the resolution. Okay. I want to see yours. Okay. Right. So look at my example here. Okay. The who, where, when, what's the situation in the beginning, and our conflict, what's the problem, we don't know if we'll actually do it, a resolution, what happens at the end, we actually do it, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so everybody, I want everybody's outline on the chat. You might have to split it into 2 pieces. Jen, here's my friend Jisung me, is having this school. Where's my friend Jisung? Oh no. That's no good. Jisung. Alright, that seems like it could be a good story. Daniel. Daniel, LAT chapter 8 or page 8. Here we're talking about drafting. We're talking about telling a narrative. A personal narrative is a true story about you. Use I when you write a personal narrative. Okay. So Daniel, I want you to think about something that happened to you. Some experience, maybe it was fun, maybe it was a problem, something where there's a conflict. Think about a story from your real life. And we're going to write a personal narrative about it. We want to write a story about it. Okay? So a couple important things here. We want to have the characters, the setting, the situation, the conflict, and the resolution. This is an outline. This helps us understand what the problem is going to be. Helps us understand what the story is going to look like. Right after you send me your outline, then start filling it in. Daniel, I got to live the world. It was fun. Okay, a good story has to have conflict. Daniel, what is the problem in your story? There has to be some sort of problem in your story when you go there. Okay, make sure, I want you to fill it in. Okay, split it up into situation, conflict, and resolution. Right? Everybody else, I want you to fill it in. Come on. Who else is here? Sean, Hyunu, Ryan, William. Let's fill it in. I'm waiting. Send it on the chat. Waiting. After you write your outline, then start writing some draft. This is going to be your homework also. So don't waste time. If you wrote your outline, then start on your draft. Okay. Character me. Teachers in the backyard student. I'm riding my bicycle. The bike's brake was broken. We call it brake. We call it this. Like this. Brake. Bike's brake. Was spelled B-R-A-K-E. Good. You read the situation. Okay. Characters in my family. Setting, ski resort, I was 8 years old. Okay, I'm gonna send some grammar corrections while you guys are putting these in. Okay, so I'll start with who's on top. So first, Ujin's the first full one. Mm. Okay, Ujin grammar correction. Pigeon grammar correction. Oh, I got some more coming in. I go to Lotte World. It was not fun. It was fun. Okay. Here's a present tense. I go. Past tense was. Present tense ride. Past tense was. So you say either all past tense. I went to Lotte World, but it was not fun. So I rode a roller coaster, and it was fun. Okay. I go to Lotte World, and it is not fun. But I ride a roller coaster, and it became fun. Right? Either all past tense or all present tense. I was afraid before I skied. I ride ski with my father and it was fun. Okay. Okay, so either all past tense or all present tense. I was afraid before I rode a ski. See that? Oops, lowercase I. I was afraid before I went skiing. You don't say ride ski, you say went skiing. No, that right. You say I went skiing with my father and it was fun. Okay, just one exclamation point. And here, I went skiing. This is a complete clause. I and went skiing, a subject and a predicate. It was fun, a complete clause. So we have to have the comma and, right? Compound sentence. Okay. I go to Arizona after when I ooh, oh no. Ski resort, your father broke his leg. Oh, scary. Very scary. Okay. I go to a ski resort with my father. Went to a ski resort. So I go to ski resort with my father. After 1 hour, my father's leg breaks. So either all past tense or all present tense. So I go to a ski resort with my father. After 1 hour, my father's leg breaks. Or I went to a ski resort with my father, and after 1 hour, my father's leg broke. Okay. So my father goes to a Santa hospital and gets surgery. Say gets surgery. It gets surgery, not give surgery. Okay, the surgeon, the doctor, gives surgery or does surgery. Okay, conflict. I crashed with teachers in school. So sorry to crash with me. I felt angry too because one of the photos took a photo of me and she didn't ask permission. Oh, that's not very good. Alright, there's a nice conflict though. Good. I crashed. You mean crashed into? Or is it crashed into? Okay. Crashed into. Okay. I felt sorry for the teacher who crashed into me. I felt angry too. Okay, don't do this 2 sentences. Make this 1 sentence. Right? Don't start your sentences with but and because. Connect to the other ones. Make this one full sentence, right? I felt sorry for the teacher who crashed into me. Here, we can see this here. I felt sorry for the teacher. Compound sentence. But I felt angry too because one of the teachers took a photo of me even though she didn't ask permission. Okay. Alright. My mom was in cold, so I worried about corona, but she got health. No. Okay. See. Correction. My mom had a cold, so I was worried it might be we say novel coronavirus. But she is healthy now. Okay. Good. Okay. What else am I missing? Good. There's a playing game. Me and a friend yesterday we were playing a game. We can't broken level and end. We broken it. We don't say broke. We say beat the level. Okay. So let's fix this. Okay. Correction. Okay. Me, my friend, yesterday. Okay, it's the setting, character. Okay. Sentence. We were playing a game. Make sure to be specific. What game is it? But we couldn't beat the level. Because past tense, right? We're playing. So past tense. Couldn't beat the level. And at the end, we say we finally beat it. Okay, make sure you punctuation too. Proper grammar. Okay? Alright, me and my friend went to I don't know how to skate, but I learned to skate and eventually escape. Well, good. Okay, a Y here, eventually. Okay. Resolution, I calm myself with throwing stuff on the brick wall. Okay, that's correction. Correction. Resolution, I calm myself by throwing stuff at, let's say, a brick wall. Not stuffs. By throwing stuff at a brick wall. Or we say throwing things. I calm myself by throwing. Okay. Oh, that really work. Okay. Teacher, I want to see your face. Okay. Yeah. That's me. You were late. I was on the camera before. Okay. So everybody has a good idea of their outline. Okay, this is part of your homework. Let me mark down your homework here. Change this a little bit. Text. So, homework. What is today? 2020 0309. G4. Homework. Okay. Write a full draft of your narrative essay. Okay. There is your homework. Any questions? Questions, questions, questions. Anyone? It's so cold in here. What does what mean? Oh, the homework? This is your narrative essay. This is what you're writing, your story. That's what I said before. I mean, narrative essay. Okay. Also, Daniel, you say, what does that mean? Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? Where do you write? Write it on paper. Write it on. I'll write it. Double space. Okay. I think. Yes, in your notebook. I think Michelle teacher will see you later. Or maybe I can have you email it to me. Oops. Paper, or should I have you write? Should I have you type it, or should you write it paper? Maybe if we're doing online classes, maybe you should write it. Maybe you should type it. We didn't really plan this in advance. Maybe you should just write it on paper. Okay. Write it on paper. Double space. Okay. Yes, this is the homework. Homework. It says homework. Okay, so I want a full story. Full story with this setting, characters, conflict, situation, resolution, all told in first person. So like I, me, like this, about the story that you made an outline for today. Okay? Only that one? Yes. Just the writing homework. So do a really good job on it. No vocabulary or stuff this week. Okay? So just a story, and put a lot of effort into it because it's your only homework. So write it well, and then somehow Michelle teacher will get it from you. Any other questions? Questions? Everybody understands? Make sure you write down the homework. Who says no? What does that mean, no? No, you're not going to do your homework? Not a good idea. Do your homework. Tony, what are you saying? Yes, I'm? What does that mean? With William. William. Any other questions about the homework or your writing? Make sure you copy down the corrections I sent you. Anything else? It is time to end the class. Class is ending now. I hope you all have a great week. Do a good job on your homework. Study hard, even though you're staying home. Do a good job on your homework. Goodbye. Goodbye.